This is Peanut and Raisin right here at my house. These are the guys that'll welcome you if you come here.
They're very attentive, I noticed.
They sure are. Today we get to find out what the function of reason is. Easy for me to
Why,
say.
why bother using reason? Okay. Perception selects and makes the world you see. Perception literally picks the egoic world you see out as the mind directs. The laws of size and shape and brightness would hold, perhaps in the world you see, if other things were equal. Other things are not equal. For what you see, for what you look for, you are far more likely to discover than what you would prefer to overlook. The still small voice for God, the Holy Spirit, is not drowned out by all the ego raucous screams and senseless ravings to those who want to hear the Holy Spirit. Perception is a choice, not a fact. But on this choice of how you choose to perceive the egoic world depends far more than you may realize as yet. For on the voice you choose to hear and on the sights you choose to see depends entirely on your whole belief in what you are. Perception is a witness, but to what you believe you are, and never to reality. Yet perception can show you the conditions in which awareness of reality is possible, or those conditions in which awareness of reality could never be.
Perception's based on the choice of which thought system we will follow. If we choose the ego's thought system, that's the thought system of the body and the wet noodle brain thinking it's just me in this body. If we choose the ego's thought system, the world we will perceive will be a fearful, sinful, and guilty place. If we choose our Holy Spirit's guide, the part of our soul that is joined together with the rest of all of the other sons of God and daughters of God out there, we call it the sonship. If we choose the Holy Spirit's, the world will be based on love, and it will support our every need. Whether or not we have inner peace at any given moment will reveal to us which system is controlling our mind's thinking.
Reality needs no cooperation from you to be itself, but your awareness of reality needs your help. Because what you choose to call into your awareness of reality is your choice. This choice becomes your provisional reality. Whose thought system will you choose to value? Listen to what the egoic thought system says and see what the ego directs you to see, which is the body form, and it is sure that you will see yourself as tiny, vulnerable, and afraid. Based on what the ego directs you to see, you will experience depression, a sense of worthlessness, and feelings of impermanence and unreality. Based on what the ego directs you to see, you will believe that you are helpless prey to forces far beyond your control and far more powerful than you. And based on what the ego directs you to see, you will think the world you made directs your destiny. For this choice for the awareness of your belief in egoic limitation will be your faith. But never believe this egoic limitation because it is your faith in your belief in egoic limitation that your awareness makes into your provisional reality. It is this choice of what thought system you will place in your faith. It is this choice of what thought system you will place your faith in that is determining what you choose to perceive as your provisional reality. I wonder what that sentence, I don't even think that sentence is in the original book because it's all bold.
It's not. I've got the book open right here, so
Mhm.
I'll read the second half of this paragraph, starting
Yeah,
with
go ahead.
six.
It's a good example of sometimes it's more difficult, just sometimes, if you clarify every single pronoun.
I get it. I get it. I really do. So I'll do that. I'm actually going to start with sentence number 5. So here it
Okay.
is in the book. You will believe that you are a helpless prey to forces beyond your own control and far more powerful than you. And you will think the world you made directs your destiny. For this will be your faith, but never believe, because it is your faith that makes reality.
Period.
Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty, the unbold lettering is it's pretty close, almost always exactly the same as the actual text.
Yep. Yep. As we believe, so we perceive. Believe ourselves to be limited, and we will envision our world of provisional reality as limited. The world we perceive will be based on our belief of what we are. We will choose to believe that we have varying degrees of power over our experiences. This idea of levels of difficulty allows for a wide variance of experiences. Most people choose to be only partly responsible for their perceived world. Thus, we may believe that our mind can cure a headache, but not cancer. Our image of ourselves may claim that we are only powerless in certain circumstances, yet totally empowered in another. ACIM tells us that there is no order of difficulty in miracles. All illusions give way to truth. It is our faith in what we believe, that in what we believe we are, that makes our provisional reality. Our belief in limitation limits our sourceness within our world of perception. We deny that we are the source for all that we perceive. Our creative power allows us to pretend that we are indeed powerless. This pretense of our powerlessness doesn't change the fact that we are the source of our powerless experience. Our beliefs become our self fulfilling prophecy.
So, in other words, if we're having a dream and we think that's reality, that's same as what we perceive. Waking up doesn't have to be a big wake up or a little teeny tiny wake up. It's just waking up and it's a dream. Hello, the dream is gone. There is another vision and another voice in which your freedom lies, awaiting but your choice. And if you place your faith in them, the choice for the thought system of the Holy Spirit, you will perceive another self in you. This other self, the Christ, sees miracles as natural. Miracles are simple and as natural to the Christ as breathing to the body. Miracles are the obvious response to calls for help. The only response the Holy Spirit's thought system makes. We can highlight that, Lee. Miracles seem unnatural to the ego because the ego does not understand how separate minds can influence each other, nor could separate minds influence each other. But minds cannot be separate. This other self, the Christ consciousness, is perfectly aware that minds cannot be separate. And thus the Christ consciousness recognizes that miracles do not affect another's mind, only its own mind. That's true, by the way. I sometimes think I see something happen. I say, that's a miracle. And if I happen to mention it to someone who is not studying this, they'll say, it's just a coincidence.
Yep.
It's just the way the ego sees things and the way the Holy Spirit within us sees things. Miracles always change your mind. There is no other mind. Wow.
Miracles only change your own mind. However, since all minds are joined as one mind, the whole mind is affected. There is only the one shared holographic mind of God. Thus, each miracle we claim for ourselves, we also claim for all of our brothers and sisters.
You do not realize the whole extent to which the idea of separation has interfered with reason. Reason lies in the other self, the Christ consciousness that you have cut off from your awareness. And nothing you have allowed to stay in your awareness, the egoic mind, is capable of reason. How can the segment of the mind devoid of reason, the ego, understand what reason is or grasp the information reason would give? All sorts of questions may arise in the egoic mind, but if the basic question stems from reason, the egoic mind will not ask the basic question. Like all that stems from reason, the basic question is obvious, simple, and remains unasked. But think not, reason could not answer the basic question. I'm glad he's going to now tell us.
Me too. The basic question in its
What is the
simplest
basic
form
question,
is,
right?
what am I? Am I an unlimited child of God, which is part of the innocence of the oneness of everything? Or am I a little tiny, squishy ego body in competition with all the other ego bodies? Am I a little ant running around in the mud trying to carry a big leaf that's 5 times bigger than I am? Based on the answer, this awareness of what you believe yourself to be will make your world of provisional reality seem real to you. You will experience what you choose to believe, what you choose to dream. Your choice will create your experience. Right or wrong, you're going to be right. You're going to have the experience you choose, right or wrong.
And thank God we can wake up from the dream we have by way of by way of the ego. So
It's
that
oddly
forever.
easy to say that it's your choice, and I know full well that it doesn't seem like a choice when you're staring it down in the small r reality. You have to get up and change your perspective. For me, it took hitting a lot of bottoms to change my perspective and to be willing to see
Yes.
it differently and to be willing to accept that it could be an opportunity for the truth, and then to see evidence of the truth happening in the form of miracles in front of me, and still kind of marveling that it's happening, but it is literally happening in front of me right now.
God's plan for your salvation could not have been established without your will and your consent. In other words, you consented to God's plan for salvation, for your salvation. God's plan for your salvation must have been accepted of the Son of God. For what God wills for his Son must receive. Ain't no question about it.
Nope.
For God wills not apart from his Son, nor does the will of God wait upon time to be accomplished. Therefore, what joined the will of God, Christ consciousness, must be in you now, being eternal. You must have set aside a place in which the Holy Spirit can abide, and where the Holy Spirit is. This place is the Christ consciousness part of your mind. The Holy Spirit must have been there since the need for the Holy Spirit arose and was fulfilled in the same instant. Such would your reason tell you if you listened to reason. Yet such is clearly not the ego's reasoning. Your reason's alien nature to the ego is proof you will not find the answer there within the egoic thought system. Yet, if God's plan for your salvation must be so, the places in your mind for the acceptance of God's plan must exist. And if God's plan for your salvation exists for you and has your freedom as the purpose given, God's plan for your salvation, I'm sorry, I didn't say that right. 11. And if God's plan for your salvation exists for you and has your freedom as the purpose given God's plan for your salvation, you must be free to find God's plan for your salvation. Lee, sound.
That is a great promise. The Course in Miracles does talk about the idea that got us where we are. And it's kind of boils down to the whole point of us getting to read this book in the first is because at one point beyond the beginning of time, part of God's mind thought, what would it be like if God wasn't everything? If God wasn't eternal, if God wasn't omniscient, if God wasn't completely included in everything. They thought, what if we had a dream? And they call this the mad idea of separation. And the dream was that we would be separate from God. What would it be like? So when the tiny mad idea of separation was thought, the solution was instantaneously created. The voice for this solution was the Holy Spirit took up residence within the Christ conscious part of our minds. The Christ conscious part of our mind never forgot the remembrance of God, that we're all connected. The Holy Spirit's thought system leads to the reawakening of our mind to the Christ within each of us. And that's just a label. If Christ bothers you, if the word Christ bothers you, pick something else. But it's the holy part of our mind that guides us, that's always with us, that is that still quiet voice. The ego is the part of our split mind that doubted what it was. It only doubted it. You made a little mistake. To claim that you don't know what you are is the beginning of insanity. Reason is not welcome within the mind of the insane. So we're going to stop for today. Hope you have a great one.
Thanks.